They pinned me face down on the kitchen floor at 5:42 a.m. My son was still asleep. One cop drove his knee between my shoulder blades. Another stripped off my watch. On the table sat my work phone and an empty mug from last night's coffee. Mike Rourke? You're under arrest for bribery, falsifying inspection documents, and negligence leading to death, the sergeant said. You have the right to remain silent. I didn't stay silent. You've got the wrong door, I said. I failed that sight. I wrote and read that the elevators had no brakes, the scaffolding was junk. They didn't listen. They cuffed me. Dragged me into the cold. Blue lights flashed in the entryway. The neighbor from the third floor filmed on her phone. In the window I saw my son's curtain lift, just a shadow on the wall, and that was it. They took me into the investigator's office. A folder on the desk. First page, my name, my inspector ID photo, and a screenshot of my electronic seal on the Horizon Loft's certificate of occupancy. Beside it, a scuffed flash drive. Your signature is under the approval to operate, Detective Lyles said like it was already decided. A week later the facade hoist failed. 19-year-old kid died. 45 grand hit your account. Same day. I didn't sign it, I said. I failed that job. They know it. Who's they? The developer. Lance Calder. His people. Lyles didn't blink. Bank statement? He tapped the printout. My account. Incoming wire from Cathexis LLC. Explain. First time I've seen that name. And I never touched the money. He leaned forward. You have two options. Tell the truth and cooperate, or get a lawyer and take the long road with no promises. I'm telling the truth. He shut the folder. Start from the beginning. I'm 49. Former Marine. 10 years in private construction after the service, then as city inspector. Mid-Pennsylvania. A town you drive through and forget. I'm no hero. I follow rules. A signature isn't a stamp. If it's not safe, I write no and I stand on it. I heard about Horizon Lofts last fall, when Calder bought an old mill and decided to turn it into housing for young professionals. Money flowed. Press loved it. Receptions and photos with the mayor. On paper, perfect. On site, a mess. Cheap scaffolds, cheap fall arrest gear, cutting corners everywhere. The foreman, Gabe, whispered to me. If we call this out, we're gone. But those hoists sound like coffee grinders. Cables are rusted. I wrote my report. 3 pages of denials. Filed it through the city system. Added a note, check hoists separately. Suspend work. 2 days later the server went down. Nighttime outage. Our IT said the contractor, Data Harbor, was doing an update. A week later they took the case from me. My boss, Ted Barrett, said. It's handled. They brought certificates. Sign off. We're moving on. I failed them. Where's my report? In the system. Don't worry. I worried. Then came the day the hoist fell and killed the kid, Travis Pike, 19. I'd seen him a few times. NASCAR sticker on his hard hat. Always chewing gum. After he died, the press screamed. 2 days later they searched my place. After the interview they let me make a call. I reached a lawyer from the city bar list. Soft voice, tired eyes. Mike, take a deal, he said. You won't beat Calder and his friends. I'm not taking a deal for something I didn't do. Then gather proof yourself. Careful, though. They set bail. I walked out and felt the town looking at me like a fish stranded in a puddle after rain. I went home. My son sat there in his jacket. Dad, kids at school showed the video, he said. Are you a killer? I'm an inspector. I did my job. He looked at me like that wasn't enough. Mom called. Said I should stay with her a couple weeks. Go, I said. Till the noise dies down. He didn't answer. Grabbed his backpack. At the door he said, fix it. I shut the door and sat down. My seal on the table. A bare nail on the wall where they'd taken down my framed inspector diploma during the search. I started simple. I went to Gabe. Gabe met me at a diner by the docks. You shouldn't be here, he said. They're watching. Who? Calder's people. Saw a black Tahoe by your street yesterday. Rental plates. Who put up the scaffold? Briggs Equipment. Their overseer is Nolan Briggs. Hard case. Said, work or I replace you. You know my report vanished and something else showed up? Heard that. Our guys said someone was poking around the city system at night. After the accident their IT guy showed, Korean, skinny. Sean Kim. Hung around the server room. Where do I find him? Data Harbor. 3rd floor, River Drive Business Center. But don't walk in cold. Calder owns them. What else? Gabe pulled out his phone. Travis filmed the clip before he died. Short. I saved it off his Snapchat before they killed access. On screen, the hoist. The camera shakes. Someone curses. Travis's voice, Gabe, this winch is tearing itself up. If we ride it today, they'll fold us like chairs. The frame catches a dirty Briggs tag. Send it, I said. Gabe leaned in. Mike, they won't play fair. Fired 2 guys who raised hell. Jumped one outside his house. Be careful. I'm already in the middle, I said. Next was Ruth Delgado. City Council. Always against Calder. Last year her husband got tossed from a committee for conflict of interest. She had a grudge. I knew you'd come, Ruth said, letting me into her office. I have copies of access logs to the city system from the night of the update. But I needed an insider. That's you. What do the logs show? Logins from the municipal network at 2:13, 2:49, and 3:07 a.m. 2-factor to your number. You were asleep then, right? Yes. Means your SIM was cloned. I clenched my teeth. Remembered, the day before, my phone cut out for half an hour. I'd blamed the carrier. Who can get into the server room at night? I asked. Officially only Data Harbor. Unofficially anyone with the backdoor key. Including janitorial. Can we pull badge logs? If someone used the console, yes. If they came in with a cleaner's mechanical key 0. I know a cleaner, I said. Ruth handed me a thin folder. Copies. Don't show them to anyone you don't trust. I hardly trust anyone. Good. Maria from the night cleaning crew had known me 5 years. I once helped when her son was injured on a job and management tried to blame misconduct. She sat at the bus stop, sipping tea from a thermos. That night, she repeated. One man. Tall. Blazer. White sneakers. Around 3. Swiped a badge. I thought he was from the mayor's office. But he went to the server room. I was mopping the hall, heard the drives clicking. 10 minutes. He came out with a bag. Bag crinkled. Remember the face? A face you want to forget. Empty eyes. Receding hair. Jaw like a boxer. Nolan Briggs? I showed a photo from a ribbon-cutting piece. That's him. Thank you, Maria. Mike, she touched my sleeve, be careful. He looked at me like he was measuring who I was. I pretended I didn't see him. I nodded and walked into my carrier's store. A teenager with a brow ring clicked around for a while. Your SIM was replaced by recovery yesterday at 1:55 a.m., he said. Request came online. Verified with birthdate and last four of social. I didn't do that. We flagged the account as compromised. Where was it done? Doesn't show. But here's the device ID they moved the eSIM to. I can print it. He handed me the paper. A long string of numbers. It was something. I stepped outside and felt I wasn't walking alone. The same black Tahoe trailed me. I turned, they turned. At a red light I stopped. The Tahoe lined up behind me. I got out and walked toward them. The glass went darker. Engine grumbled. The Tahoe jerked left and blew the red. I smiled. They were nervous. Next, Data Harbor. I didn't go in. I watched from across the street. Third floor, a skinny kid with glasses carried a box to the elevator. Sean Kim. I recognized him from a city slideshow on transitioning to secure data storage. He smoked on the fire escape and stared down. I took out my old notebook and wrote, Sean equals weak link? I knew another guy who listened. Ben Sutter at the local paper. Lived on small checks. Loved documents. Mike, I met you because I remember your playground case, he said in the cafe. You stopped a contractor from burying uneven pavers. Kids would have snapped ankles. This is bigger than pavers, I said and laid out Ruth's logs, Travis's video, and Nolan's photo. Ben stared a while. This isn't a story, it's a war, he said. I know someone in the state AG's office. If we give them enough, they'll move. But we need more than a janitor's memory and your word. I'll get it. One more thing. Cathexis LLC. I ran a quick search. Registered to a Delaware mail drop. Owner, trust. Accountant, same firm that services Calder's PAC. Funds came through a crypto exchange we won't name. It's all borderline, but the trail's there. Find the person who pressed the keys. Sean? Ben looked up. Sean. I waited on Kim at dusk outside his office. He came out with a backpack and an energy drink. I stepped in beside him. We need to talk, I said. He flinched. Who are you? The guy you turned into a criminal. Where's my report? I don't know what you mean. You do. You went into the system at night. You swapped documents. You cloned my SIM. I can see your fear. Let's go to a cafe. If you call anyone, this ends badly. For you. He looked at me and nodded. In the cafe his hands shook around the water glass. I didn't want to, he whispered. They made me. Who? Nolan. Came to us saying urgent access, city security cleared it. He had a key. He always knows everything. Said, help or your parents lose their house to back taxes. Then he showed a photo of my dad leaving dialysis. Said, shame if something happened to the car he rides in. What did you do? Loaded a new PDF with your seal into the system. I had a copy of your cert. I don't know how they got it. Marked verified. Deleted the old report through the console. No one was supposed to see. The SIM? I didn't do it. Nolan brought a phone guy. They switched your two-factor to another device for 15 minutes. Switched back after. I got the codes and logged in. Do you still have logs? Some stay on my laptop. But the office server's been swapped. They put in a cold archive. Nolan came back before the accident. Took drives. I know where he keeps them before they move them. He's dumb, rents the same storage unit as before. Address. Sean wrote it down. I took a photo. Sean, I said quietly, either you come with me to the AG, or I call the press right now and your name hits page 1. I hand over the video and everything I've got. I'll go, he said, fingers locked. But give me a day. I'm scared for my dad. You've got 6 hours. Tonight. We hit the storage. He nodded. When he left, I called Ruth and Ben. Laid it out short. Ruth said, "I'll add state security. Quiet. No patches. But you're not a hero, Mike. If they see you at the storage, they'll go for your son." "My kid's with his mom," I said. I already planned for that. The storage place on the edge of town glowed with lonely bulbs. Units like honeycomb. We stood in the truck's shadow. Ben held a camera. Ruth held a phone with a state corruption agent on speed dial. "Look," Ben whispered. The Tahoe rolled up. Nolan got out with 2 men. They laughed, tight and wrong. Carried 2 crates. Went into Unit 17B. "Film," I said. We caught them opening up, pulling drives, working the locks. I took a step. Ben grabbed me. "Don't. We've got the video. We need the drives. They'll take them with a warrant." "Ruth?" Ruth was whispering into the phone. "They're en route. 10 minutes. 10 minutes is too long." Nolan locked the unit and headed back. I stepped out of the shadow. "Nolan," I said evenly. "You've got something that isn't yours." He jerked. The 2 with him went for their pockets. "Don't be stupid," I said. "Cameras rolling. Agents on the way. Put the drives back. Leave the key in the lock. Lie down on the concrete. Or you're not going home, you're going somewhere farther than I'm thinking." Nolan smiled crooked. "You're dead, Rourke." "Not anymore. You didn't scare me this morning. Think you can now?" He checked my hands. I wasn't armed. But he saw my shoulders, my stance. The closer of the 2 swung and took my knee in his gut. The second stepped back. "On the ground," I said. Sirens tore open the night. Nolan wiped his forehead and tossed the key into the lock. "Lay down." When the state boys took the unit and Nolan, I felt oxygen come back. "Left us a present," the agent said. "We'll be back with a warrant for Data Harbor." "Make it fast," I said. "They're scrubbing." "We're already there." In the morning, Whitney Gale, Calder's PR, called. Smooth voice. "Mike, we could have handled this without mud." "Why the circus?" "Because a kid's dead. It's a tragedy. But he broke the rules. No harness. Our attorneys will show that." "Your attorneys show whatever you tell them. But there are logs, drives, and a witness. Your Nolan ran the server room. Your Sean swapped files. Your name sits under mine." Silence. "You don't understand what you're walking into," she whispered. "Calder isn't just construction. He's half this town." "Then I'm walking the right way. Come to the charity reception at River Hall tonight. Talk with Lance. No cameras. We have an offer. 5 years consulting at our foundation. 75 grand a year. Healthcare for your boy. You forget Horizon. We forget you." "See you," I said, and hung up. "You going?" Ben asked. "I'm going. Wearing a mic. What if it's a trap? Then I don't walk out. But you walk out with the story." Evening at River Hall. Music and flyers about new opportunities for the city. Lance Calder in a tux, smiling like a billboard. Mayor and county DA beside him. I walked in wearing the gray suit I saved for funerals. A lapel mic fed my phone in the inner pocket. Whitney swooped in like a swallow. "This way," she said, pointing to a side room. Inside, Lance and Nolan in a fresh blazer, like he hadn't been on concrete last night. Cheese and wine on the table. "Mike," Calder spread his hands, "I heard about your trouble. This country believes in second chances. I'm ready to give you one." "Great," I said. I'm ready to give you mine. The last one. Is that a threat? It's a reminder. Remember the night in the server room? Calder didn't blink. I don't handle technical minutiae. Nolan does, I said, nodding at him. He hauls dries at 3 a.m. He taught Sean how to sign for me. He paid from cathexis. Nolan smiled. You're nothing, Mike. Your notes, your reporter friends. People are tired of scandals. They want new apartments and food courts. They don't want to die under your scaffolds, I said. Calder set down his glass. Fine, his voice cooled. Your price? My price is the truth. And justice for Travis Pike. Dead men don't vote, Nolan muttered. The living do. The door opened. Ruth walked in with 2 agents, folders in hand. Mr. Calder, she said calmly, this is a warrant for your electronic media, offices, and job site. And a subpoena to the grand jury. Whitney's face fell. Calder lifted a brow. Ruth, he said, political theater is your element. But tonight's about charity. Charity starts when you shut down your counterfeit and pressure market, Ruth said. Nolan stepped toward me. You set this up, he hissed. I just wrote no, I said. Agents moved in. Someone yelled in the hall. Music died. Calder raised his hands. We'll cooperate, he said. No problem. There's a problem, the agent said. There's also a corpse. We'll talk at your office. The next day's blue like sand and wind. Arrests. Searches. Ben's articles with flat headlines, contractor suspected of faking city approvals. Horizon Lofts case, what we know. Log excerpts. Bank transfers. Photos from the storage unit where the drives sat. Quotes from former Briggs employees. My lawyer, suddenly sharp and awake, stood by me in court when the county prosecutor reluctantly dropped the charges against me pending state investigation. The prosecutor avoided my eyes. He knew the smell was rising. My co-workers in inspection shook my hand, voices low. Hang in, Mike, they whispered. We couldn't talk. Management squeezed. Where's Ted? I asked about my boss. On leave. No return date. Sean Kim testified under immunity. He named every name and every move. How they skimmed from contracts in cash. How Nolan carried cases of money into the permits office and a clerk touched up draft certificates to hide edits. Most of all, how they swapped my report on the night of the outage. When I saw Sean's father on the courthouse bench, a thin, gray man, I thought the world is a broken mechanism sometimes. You have to stop it and fix it. Stopping is scary. The court let Travis's family file a civil suit against Calder. A big Philly firm took it. Calder shifted assets. They froze some. Whitney went on TV one morning and said the company always prioritized safety and incidents were due to human error. Ben took her statement apart line by line and set facts beside it. People read. Comments were short: give the kid his life back if you can. Pay if you can't. My son came back 2 weeks later. He stood in the doorway with his backpack. At school it's a new thing already, he said. Coach asked why I was missing. I said family stuff. How are you? Okay. You? Working on it. He nodded. We sat and watched the Eagles and didn't talk. When the first charges against Calder, Nolan, and 2 managers went to the grand jury, I drove to Horizon Lofts. The site was empty. Wind pushed paper. Warning signs hung on the fence. I walked under the canopy where the hoist used to stand. You could still see anchor scars in the concrete. Rust streaked down like dirty tears. Gabe came up. Didn't think you'd come back here, he said. I needed to see it. The guys want to raise money for Travis's family. No press. Just help. I'll kick in. You did what you had to do. I thought you'd break. I thought so too. But when they stole my signature, it was a spit in the face. I couldn't swallow it. Gabe nodded. Hear this? They're shutting Briggs. Nolan will be selling tools at a yard sale. Let him. We stood in silence. A patrol car rolled by. Dust rose, settled. You going back to inspections? Gabe asked. I applied. Even if they take me back, that place feels tight now. Everyone's scared of the next Calder. I'll consult in another county. Fewer cameras. More work. You don't look happy. Happy isn't the word. But I'll sleep. The finish was quiet. No big speech. No orchestra. A grand jury meeting where state prosecutors laid everything on the table, from the storage drives to screenshots of my two-factor and Sean's statement. A short hallway video of Nolan entering the server room at 3 a.m. A photo from the fundraiser with Calder and the mayor. The jury returned charges: conspiracy to falsify records, obstruction, construction fraud. My name wasn't in defendant anymore. It was in witness. I took the frame off the nail, wiped the glass, and hung my diploma back up. Called my son. Pizza? I asked. Pepperoni, he said. I'm ordering. I stepped onto the balcony. Fall smelled like gas and wet leaves. I didn't think about victory. I thought about my seal back on my table. Next time I stamp no, there won't be someone else's yes under it. I texted Ben, thanks. He came back fast, you did it. I texted Ruth, couldn't without you. She sent a fist emoji. I texted Maria, you okay? She sent a photo of her thermos and the word alive. When the pizza arrived, I set the box down, sliced it, and told my son. See? Sometimes one piece of proof turns the whole thing the right way. But you buy that proof with sweat and blood. And a couple of midnight runs to storage units, he said, smiling. That too, I said. We ate in silence. The TV talked about the sheriff's race. Calder's face flashed from an old interview. I muted it. Didn't want to hear his voice. He could talk to his lawyers. My revenge was simple. I took my name back. I made the no rules crowd answer. No grand words. No mudslinging they offered. Just facts, a few brave people, and pressure at the right moment. That's all I know how to do. This time, it was enough.